This is Molly Souther
and Melissa Gurney,
reporting to you from REC News. Today's broadcast is on techniques for observing behavior and recording behavior.
Earlier today, sources informed us that research was being conducted at Elm Street Park.
Greenville Parks and Recreation are trying to determine which areas of the park are being used.
We have here some observational techniques that can be used for this research.
Off the top of my head, I can think of two ways of recording. One way would be duration recording. Now that is when the researcher records the length of time that a behavior occurs. Now an example of that would be how much time is spent in interaction between two children. Now the second one would be frequency recording. And that would be when the researcher records the number of times a behavior occurs. Now how often, an example of this would be how often questions are asked.
Now don't forget there's two other methods for observational recording techniques. The first is interval recording. This is when the researcher observes a subject for a fixed amount of time. An example for this is within a 60-second period, how many times do members of the group talk to another person? The second one I can think of is continuous recording. This is where the researcher records everything that happens. An example for this is during a 1-hour period, all the behavior of a 6-year-old boy would be recorded.
Now be careful because no technique for assessing behavior is perfect.
Here are some particular problems that you should consider if you want to use observational techniques.
1. Your very presence may affect the behavior being observed.
2. Your own bias of viewpoints may affect the way in which you record to the way you do the recording.
The next would be you may become fatigued or bored and miss important aspects of the behavior being recorded or miss the behavior itself.
The fourth is you may change the definition of those behaviors you want to observe such that what was defined as aggression at the time, time 1, such as touching without permission, is redefined at time 2 because you realize that not all touching is necessarily aggressive. With that being said, I'm Melissa.
And I'm Molly. And this broadcast from REC News has been fun. Tune in at 9 p.m. for more information.
And remember,
stay classy, Greenville.